Imagine a world where your alarm clock rings, and instead of the usual groan, you spring out of bed, every joint fluid, every muscle ready. Your mind a lightning-fast supercomputer effortlessly recalling yesterday's grocery list and pondering quantum physics simultaneously, all before your first sip of coffee. Imagine pushing past a century, not just existing, but thriving, climbing mountains, learning new languages, your memory sharper than a newly forged blade, your skin radiating the kind of effortless glow usually reserved for freshly bloomed roses in a CGI garden, completely immune to the subtle betrayals of time, the insidious whispers of cellular decay, or the existential dread of forgetting where you left your keys. What if the secret to this inconveniently perfect existence, this defiance of biological expectation, wasn't locked away in some futuristic lab, hidden beneath layers of complex patents and astronomical price tags, but rather sitting innocently on a grocery shelf, masquerading as a humble, everyday snack? What if the pathway to rewriting your body's operating manual, to not just adding years to your life but vibrant, exhilarating life to your years, wasn't a rigorous, monk-like asceticism or an unpronounceable supplement regimen, but something far simpler, something you might even find yourself reaching for mindlessly during a late-night Netflix binge, utterly unaware of the microscopic marvels unfolding within your very being with every delightful pop? Resveratrol, that unassumingly potent polyphenol, nestled comfortably in the crimson coats of our red grape friends, isn't just a fancy word for a fruit extract. It's a master orchestrator in the intricate symphony of your cellular existence, a silent superhero working diligently behind the scenes while you're busy navigating the daily grind, completely unaware of the profound microscopic benefits unfolding within your very being with every delightful pop. Forget the overpriced serums promising to turn back the clock with ingredients you can't pronounce, or the complicated biohacking rituals that require a small mortgage. Resveratrol is reportedly out there, subtly supporting cellular repair, meticulously patching up the microscopic wear and tear that comes from simply living, from breathing, from the sheer energetic chaos of existing in the modern world. Think of your body not as a delicate flower, destined to wilt, but as a magnificent, ancient cathedral, constantly battered by the elements of modern life, the stress, the pollution, the questionable snack choices, the relentless ticking of time. And Resveratrol? It's the tireless, unpaid, and utterly meticulous restoration crew, patching cracks, reinforcing arches, ensuring the stained glass windows of your DNA remain brilliantly intact, preventing the insidious erosion that we simply chalk up to getting older. It's like having an internal cleaning crew with a tiny, specialized toolkit, constantly sweeping up the molecular debris, replacing worn-out parts, and making sure every single cog in your biological machine runs smoothly, often without so much as a polite thank you, or even an acknowledgement of its profound service. We spend fortunes on car maintenance and home repairs, diligently scheduling checkups and replacements, yet often overlook the profound, quiet diligence of something that could be helping our very cells maintain their pristine condition for decades longer. Is it not delightfully ironic that while we are diligently seeking the next big breakthrough in anti-aging, convinced the answer must be complex and expensive, the most profound cellular maintenance might be happening courtesy of a humble fruit that asks for nothing but to be eaten? And then there's the delightful dance with insulin sensitivity, a concept often shrouded in complicated dietary advice, and the looming shadow of metabolic woes that plague an increasingly sedentary, sugar-addicted world. Imagine your cells as tiny, incredibly polite receptionists, each with perfectly coiffed hair and a perpetually welcoming smile, poised and ready to usher in glucose, your body's preferred energy currency, to power all your vital functions, from lifting weights to simply thinking. But in our modern landscape, saturated with processed foods and constant sugar exposure, these receptionists can become a bit standoffish, perhaps overwhelmed by the sheer volume of glucose callers, or simply tired from the constant ringing. They start ignoring the glucose knocking at the door, refusing entry, leading to a buildup in the bloodstream, a scenario that quickly escalates into a rather unwelcome, high-stakes party for your pancreas, which then has to work overtime, pumping out more and more insulin, leading down a path no one desires, one of metabolic resistance and potential health complications. Resveratrol, in its understated brilliance, is like a highly effective, yet completely unpretentious, charm school instructor for those cellular receptionists. It gently reminds them how to be more attentive, more responsive, more efficient at their job, ensuring glucose is politely ushered in to fuel your day, rather than lingering outside, causing systemic havoc and inflammation. This isn't about ditching your favorite dessert entirely or embarking on a monastic dietary regime. It's about subtly nudging your body's delicate, exquisitely tuned sugar handling system back towards a state of harmonious efficiency, preventing the kind of metabolic misunderstandings that can lead to a host of less than charming health issues, all while you're probably just enjoying a handful of grapes as a mere palate cleanser, completely oblivious to the metabolic diplomacy unfolding within you. The profound irony being, we often demonize fruit for its natural sugar content, overlooking the fact that a key compound within it might actually be helping us handle all sugar better, making our entire metabolic system more resilient. But let's not tiptoe around the elephant in the vineyard, the one everyone secretly dreams of befriending: longevity. The human obsession with extending our stay on this planet is hardly new. We've pursued it through alchemy, strange diets, countless bizarre rituals, and now, increasingly, through complex supplements and gene therapies that sound like they belong in a sci-fi novel. Yet, while red grapes won't grant you immediate immortality or the ability to sprout wings and fly to Jupiter, Resveratrol has entered the longevity conversation with a quiet, yet utterly compelling, confidence. It's not about finding a magic bullet or a single miraculous pill. It's about fine-tuning the cellular machinery that dictates how gracefully, or indeed, how ungracefully, we age. Picture your cells with a built-in self-destruct mechanism, a biological clock that ticks down with every passing year, governed by telomeres shortening and genes misfiring, the accumulated damage steadily mounting, and Resveratrol is like a clever, benevolent hacker, subtly recalibrating that clock, buying your cells more time, more productive cycles, effectively stretching out their prime, their peak performance window. This compound is a recognized activator of sirtuin proteins, often dubbed longevity genes, which are essentially the wise, ancient guardians of your cellular kingdom, overseeing DNA repair, metabolism, and inflammation, almost as if they're whispering ancient secrets of sustained youth to your very core. So while your neighbors are investing in cryotherapy pods that promise to halt time, or spending fortunes on experimental therapies, believing the future of eternal youth must be expensive and technologically advanced, the potential for a few extra vibrant decades might be found in something you could buy with pocket change, a delightful irony that perhaps makes the true secret of youthfulness just a little too mundane, too accessible for our grand, complex expectations. We chase complexity, when simplicity might just be the quiet, unassuming king of the biological realm, patiently waiting to be recognized. Speaking of internal machinery and the pursuit of endless vitality, let's talk about mitochondria. Those unassuming yet incredibly powerful mini-furnaces nestled within nearly every cell of your body. They're not just power plants. They are the tiny, buzzing, tireless generators, tirelessly converting the food you eat into adenosine triphosphate ATP, the fundamental energy currency that keeps everything from your intricate brain computations to the twitch of your pinky toe humming along, orchestrating your very existence. When mitochondria falter, when their efficiency drops due to age, stress, poor diet, or environmental toxins, it's like a bustling city suddenly experiencing a rolling blackout. Everything slows down, performance dips, vital systems go offline, and you're left feeling perpetually drained, perpetually running on empty, wondering why your zest for life has mysteriously vanished, why your mental clarity feels like wading through treacle. Resveratrol, in its quiet, unassuming way, reportedly enhances mitochondrial function, essentially acting as a super-efficient maintenance engineer, a biomechanic extraordinaire, ensuring these microscopic power plants are running at peak performance, optimizing energy production, keeping the lights on and the engines roaring, preventing the cellular equivalent of a perpetual power cut. It's not a mere caffeine jolt or a fleeting sugar rush that fades as quickly as it arrives. It's a systemic upgrade to your internal energy grid, allowing your body to literally generate more fundamental power, more efficiently, from the fuel you provide, transforming you from a perpetually undercharged device to a fully juiced up, ready for anything super battery, ready to tackle the day with renewed vigor and unwavering focus. Now, pause for a moment to consider a truly fascinating piece of biological trivia that adds another layer of irony to this whole story. Resveratrol was first isolated in 1939, not from the lush vineyards we associate it with today, nor from some exotic Amazonian jungle plant, but from the roots of the white hellebore, a highly toxic plant known for its historical use in ancient arrow poisons. Long before its discovery in grapes sparked widespread interest in its therapeutic potential. An extraordinary, almost mischievous origin story for a compound so vital to our health, almost as if nature deliberately hid its potent secret in plain sight, protected by a veil of danger, ensuring only the most discerning, or perhaps most desperate, would ever stumble upon it. And as if that wasn't intriguing enough, some studies suggest that resveratrol mimics the profound effects of caloric restriction, a notoriously difficult yet well-documented lifespan-extending intervention that involves drastically reducing calorie intake by activating those same sirtuin proteins without demanding the arduous, often punishing, discipline of actual starvation. Imagine getting some of the benefits of eating less, without actually having to endure the hunger pangs, the constant cravings, the relentless mental battle with deprivation. A truly compelling irony that challenges our conventional understanding of how to optimize our health and extend our vitality. And finally, for the grand finale, consider your magnificent brain, that squishy, 3-pound universe of thoughts, memories, emotions, and consciousness, the very seat of your identity, the command center of your entire being, constantly under assault from something called oxidative damage. This isn't some supervillain from a comic book, nor a fleeting bad mood you can shake off. It's a relentless molecular barrage of free radicals, unstable molecules that behave like tiny, microscopic vandals, indiscriminately stealing electrons, causing cellular havoc, akin to miniature, rogue demolition crews slowly dismantling the delicate infrastructure of your neural pathways, leading to insidious, long-term harm. It's the silent enemy behind cognitive decline, the subtle thief of clarity, the insidious architect of that frustrating brain fog that makes simple tasks feel monumental and complex thoughts seem utterly out of reach. Resveratrol, with its potent antioxidant prowess, steps onto this chaotic, microscopic battlefield like a highly trained, utterly dedicated security detail, protecting against oxidative damage in brain cells. It's like deploying an elite, microscopic SWAT team, neutralizing those rogue free radicals, safeguarding your delicate neurons, preserving the intricate wiring of your intellect, ensuring your memories stay crisp, your thoughts flow freely, and your mental landscape remains as pristine and functional as a freshly defragmented hard drive, meticulously maintained to prevent any data loss or system crashes. And here's another layer to this remarkable compound story. The skin of red grapes actually contains significantly more resveratrol when exposed to stress, such as fungal infections, insect attacks, or intense UV radiation, suggesting the plant produces it as a potent self-defense mechanism, a powerful internal shield that, astonishingly, then becomes our shield when we consume it, transforming a plant's struggle into our cellular fortitude. So, while we're busy training our brains with Sudoku and crossword puzzles, convinced that mental gymnastics alone will preserve our cognitive future, a quiet, crimson-hued warrior from the plant kingdom might be fighting a far more fundamental battle for our cognitive future, without us even noticing its tireless, heroic dedication. What if the path to lifelong cognitive brilliance was not paved with complex neuroenhancements, but with the simple, accessible wisdom of nature itself, a wisdom we've perhaps been too busy to truly appreciate? So here we are, standing at the precipice of a rather unsettling revelation. We've spent millennia, and indeed billions in modern research dissecting the human condition, seeking every conceivable advantage, every longevity hack, every cognitive boost, often convinced that the answers must reside in the most exotic, the most expensive, the most cutting-edge frontiers of science. We've chased after mythical elixirs, swallowed questionable concoctions, endured uncomfortable procedures, all in the fervent hope of outsmarting the relentless march of time and decay, believing that true breakthroughs must be technologically advanced, patented, and incredibly difficult to attain. Yet, what if the most profound, most accessible, most fundamentally powerful ally in this eternal quest wasn't some futuristic nanotechnology, nor a secret formula guarded by a shadowy corporation, but a compound that has been casually gracing our tables for centuries, almost ridiculously affordable and utterly unassuming in its packaging? What if the key to unlocking enhanced cellular repair, razor-sharp insulin sensitivity, invigorated mitochondrial function, and robust brain protection against oxidative damage, all those grand promises of a vibrant, extended life, was consistently presented to us year after year, harvest after harvest, in the form of a simple, delightful fruit. The truly unnerving thought, the one that should send a shiver down the spine of every self-proclaimed wellness guru, every pharmaceutical executive, and every health trend chaser, is this: what if the natural world, in its infinite wisdom and abundant generosity, has already provided many of the profound solutions we desperately seek, and our collective human genius, blinded by the allure of complexity, the intoxicating promise of profit, and the sheer momentum of established industries, has, systematically, almost comically, overlooked them? What if the real miracle isn't the discovery of some new superdrug, but the unsettling realization that we have been, perhaps deliberately, perhaps accidentally, looking in all the wrong, most complicated places, while the simplest, most elegant answers were quite literally within arm's reach, ignored, dismissed, or perhaps even subtly de-emphasized because they don't quite fit the narrative of a billion-dollar industry built on expensive, often temporary, fixes. This isn't just about grapes. It's about the very architecture of our pursuit of health, the entrenched paradigm of complexity versus simplicity, and the unsettling implication that perhaps, just perhaps, the universe has a wickedly ironic sense of humor, placing the greatest treasures in the most mundane, accessible spots, just to see if we'd ever truly look beyond the surface, beyond the hype. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled, they say, was convincing the world he didn't exist. Perhaps the greatest trick nature ever pulled was hiding the fountain of youth in a grocery aisle, perfectly ripe, perpetually affordable, and universally available. So, revisit that glorious hypothetical. Waking up, every cell humming, mind a diamond, decades past what society deems old, thriving, vibrant, effortlessly present. Now, consider the modest crimson cluster in your fruit bowl, the one you might grab without a second thought, or perhaps even avoid because of its sugar content. Are you absolutely certain that vision of perfect, enduring vitality needs to be a distant, futuristic dream, engineered in a sterile lab or purchased at an exorbitant price, something reserved for the elite or the truly dedicated biohacker? Or is it possible that the future of profound well-being has always been, and still is, a matter of simple choices, perhaps too straightforward, too unassuming for our sophisticated tastes, too readily available to command our full, undiluted attention and respect? What if the profound secrets to a life defying biological norms, to sustained vigor and cognitive brilliance, have been playfully hidden in plain sight, nestled in the skins of red grapes, a biological cheat code delivered by nature itself, yet perpetually dismissed as mere snack food, a triviality in our grand, often misguided, search for the extraordinary? What if the elixir of life tastes like grapes, and we've been told it's just a sugary treat?